Hi everyone, this is G-Top, your ultimate destination for everything Windows related. Today we'll talk about what to do when your Windows PC won't boot from USB. Booting Windows from a USB drive has a few benefits. Fixing PC boot issues, keeping an extra copy of Windows OS for testing, running different versions of Windows when needed, and so on. So, it could be frustrating if your Windows won't boot from USB. Maybe you're attempting to boot from USB device, but it gets stuck. Perhaps your Windows won't boot up with a bootable USB device plugged in because there is no given boot from USB option. Or, your PC's BIOS settings recognizes the USB, but the computer is unable to boot from USB. Whatever, we'll here help you narrow down the cause and give you working solutions. Why is your Windows computer not booting from a bootable USB? It could be the result of a problem with your PC or the USB drive, or both. Here are a few possible issues related to PC when you can't boot from USB Windows. Your PC doesn't set the USB drive as the top priority of the boot order. Your PC isn't supported to boot from USB. The UEFI or EFI interferes with the procedure and leads to USB not booting Windows PC. When it comes to USB drives problems, here are the possible culprits. The USB drive is not bootable or not made for booting up a Windows PC. The file system of your USB drive doesn't support booting. How to fix a Windows PC that won't boot from a USB. We look at some surefire ways to help fix not booting from USB issues. The fixes in the following apply to almost all the Windows versions like Windows 11, 10, 8, 7, and so on. And we cover the steps for a few Windows computer brands to show you how to fix a PC when it won't boot from a USB drive. This includes Dell, HP, Lenovo, Asus, Acer, Huawei, Microsoft Surface, Toshiba, Samsung, Sony, MSI, and so on. If your computer brand isn't included, let us know in the comment below, and we'll provide the specific solutions for you. Now, let's start. 1. Check if you set BIOS and boot Windows from a USB drive correctly. Basic Input-Output System Settings, aka BIOS settings, include the machine's boot sequence. It tells your Windows computer to load which device is standard. So, when booting a PC from USB, making an adjustment in the BIOS to set the USB device listed first matters. If you haven't done this, it's common that your PC won't boot from bootable Windows USB. To fix it, you just need to configure the boot orders for your PC. Here's the tutorial to do that. Press the power button to turn on your PC. During the initial startup screen, press the Escape or F10 key to open the BIOS setup menu. If you fail, find the exact key for your computer on the screen to follow. From there, select the Boot tab using the arrow keys on your keyboards. Now, you should see a list of devices that are available and their boot priority. Find your USB drive and move it to be the first in the boot sequence. Sometimes, your BIOS may list the USB drive under the hard drive devices. If you can find it, move the hard drive devices to the top. Then, expand all hard drive device options and move the USB device you need to the top. Once done, save the change and exit the BIOS setup menu. A few seconds later, your PC will restart. If everything goes well, you should find your PC boots from USB drive successfully. 2. Make sure to use a bootable USB drive. So, your Windows computer is still not booting from USB, and you're pretty sure that the BIOS configuration is properly set. Then, the USB drive should be at fault. You can't boot Windows from USB stick if it's not bootable or it's corrupted. So, the next step is to check if the USB devices are bootable. There are many ways to do that, and here we'll show you the command prompt method. This can be followed easily whether your PC is booting up or not. Alright, here's the tutorial to do that. Insert the USB which you want to boot your PC from. Next, open Command Prompt window. If your Windows computer is on, press Windows key and R key to open the Run dialog. Next, type CMD and press Ctrl and Shift and Enter key to run command prompt as an administrator. If your PC is off, enter WinRE to open the command prompt. Hold down the power button for 10 seconds to turn off your PC. Then, press the power button again to turn on your device. When you see your PC start up and show the Windows logo or manufacturer's logo, hold down the power button again to turn it off. Then, press the power button again to turn on your device. When you see your PC start up and show the Windows logo or manufacturer's logo, hold down the power button again to turn it off. Then, press the power button again to turn on your device. Now, let your PC start up without pressing any button. An automatic repair screen will show up. choose Advanced Options. Then, the computer enters the Windows recovery environment. Now, select Troubleshoot, click Advanced Options, click Command Prompt. Alright, in Command Prompt Windows, type disk part and press Enter key. Type list disk and press Enter key. Look for the USB disk and inspect the status and free disk space. If the status says no volume or no media, or the free disk space is low, then the USB drive is bootable. 3. Inspect if your PC supports booting from USB. It's not rare that a PC can't boot from USB because the Windows system doesn't enable users to do that. Maybe the operating system is too old. Perhaps the manufacturer doesn't offer the option to boot Windows from a USB drive. So, it's a wise move to figure it out. Here's the tutorial to do that. Press the power button to turn on your PC. During the initial startup screen, press the Escape or F10 key to open the BIOS setup menu. If you fail, find the exact key for your computer on the screen to follow. From there, select the Boot tab using the arrow keys on your keyboards. From the list of devices, see if there is a USB boot option. You can also expand the removable devices to check if it offers a USB boot option. If you can't see it, then you'll need to find other ways to boot your Windows computer. If you see it, it means that you're allowed to boot Windows from USB. Move to the next step to resolve other problems. 4. Enable CMS or legacy boot. Are you using a new version of PC? Then, there's a chance that the computer is pre-installed with UEFI. It's a type of firmware that is used to perform the initial setup and booting of computer systems, which is an alternative to the old BIOS firmware interface. UEFI has the risk of disrupting the BIOS settings and rendering Windows not booting from USB. If you suspect this cause, you need to make some configurations to solve the potential conflict. Here's the tutorial to do that. Press the power button to turn on your PC. During the initial startup screen, press the Escape or F10 key to open the BIOS setup menu. If you fail, find the exact key for your computer on the screen to follow. From there, navigate to the Boot tab. Find the option called Compatibility Support Module, CSM, or Legacy Boot. Then, set it to the On status. You can check if the USB drive is listed at the top of the boot order again. After that, save the changes and exit the BIOS settings. Your Windows computer will restart. If the status of CSM or Legacy Boot is the problem, you should now manage to boot Windows from USB. 5. Format your USB drive from NTFS to FAT32. Here, we'll continue inspecting if the USB drive is qualified for booting up a PC. The checking you should do now is to view the file system of the USB drive. If you're intending to boot your Windows computer from USB using UEFI, it's necessary to use a USB with FAT32 file system. If you're not sure about that, here's the tutorial to show you how to check it. First of all, check your USB drive's file system. Find your USB drive icon and right-click it. In the opening menu, choose Properties. If the file system is FAT32, move to the next step. If the file system is NTFS, follow these instructions to switch it to FAT32. Press the Windows key and E key together to open Windows Explorer. Find your USB drive and right-click on it. Next, choose Format. Select FAT32, choose Quick Format and click Start option. Now, repeat the instructions in Step 1 and see if your PC boots from USB drive normally now. 6. Create a bootable USB drive again. This is a more advanced trick to attempt. But if the Windows computer still failed to boot from the USB after attempting all the steps, it's time to recreate a bootable USB drive. We'll show you how to do that with a media creation tool. You'll need to download and install it on your computer by going to https://www.microsoft.com/and-us/software-download/Windows 10. Once done, double-click the .exe file and accept the terms. Select Create Installation Media, USB flash drive, DVD, or ISO file for another PC. Choose a language, edition, and architecture. Next, select the USB flash drive option. Find your USB drive and choose it. A few seconds later, it'll start downloading Windows 10 to your USB drive. Wait until the process completes. Click Finish, and now you successfully create a bootable drive. Now, repeat Step 1 and see if your PC is booting from USB drive now. That's it. Thanks for watching this video. Feel free to let us know in the comments below if you have any questions about that PC won't boot from USB or if you find one or more methods that work for you. Hope this video helps troubleshoot your problems and you can like it. We'll highly appreciate it if you can give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our GTop channel, and share it to your friends or on social media to help those in need. See you in the next video. Bye.